Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Sunday.
To you.
To you.
Hey, twinning.
Twinning?
Oh, that is.
That was very similar to RRV.
Welcome into Sleeper Sunday, presented by Sleeper. Download the Sleeper app, use the promo code BUFFS, BUFFS, to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. This show is slightly different than most shows we do. We're definitely going to talk last night's game. We're going to talk some CSU, what needs to change. But we'll also get into some CFB, some NFL, fantasy football, much more later on. Last night, though, morning after takes. Who wants to start?
The first thing, this is honestly the first thing I thought about when I woke up this morning the first football thought I had when I woke up this morning is disappointment over the fact that I feel as though the defense played good enough. And that is hard to swallow just because of the way that, this team is built in the firepower and explosion that they have on the offensive side. And so the fact that we weren't able to tap into kind of what should make us great is those weapons on the offense. The fact that we weren't able to utilize those and get enough points on the board, which, if the offense plays better, it's 21 points that the defense gave up. And obviously, game flow changes and this, that, and the other. But in the end, that's what I came away really feeling like is, man, I think the defense was going to give us a chance to win that game, and the offense just never really had a chance.
Yeah, we've talked all offseason about this year's Colorado Buffaloes compared to last year needing to play complementary football for a complete game. And to what you're saying, that just didn't happen. The defense constantly put us in positions to be successful, and the offense faltered. The special teams put us in positions to be successful.
Yep, Jimmy Horn.
And the offense faltered. And then as a team, as I said before the kickoff on the pre-game show, less than 4 penalties, got to get a takeaway, can't give one up, and we didn't check any of those boxes. Halftime, 7 penalties for 80 yards. You look at the back half of the game when they caught up in penalties, and I think even passed us in yardage on penalties, it kind of skews the impact that the penalties had on us. And so that's why I used that first half number, because by the time you got to the fourth quarter, flags were flying everywhere. Everybody was just playing sloppy. I like the fact that our defense was able to continue that second half because Nebraska was still trying to score.
Yes.
They weren't up to a point in the third quarter that they were putting third string in and just trying to milk the clock and get out of there. They were aggressively trying to score, and we were matching that aggression and stopping them.
Yeah.
We still just couldn't do anything on offense.
My morning after take is similar. I kind of mentioned it last night, but Robert Livingston, what he's done with those second half adjustments through 2 games is very impressive. The defense is much better than it was last year. I think that's completely apparent.
Yep.
And there's probably someone in the comments right now because they're looking at the final score and saying, how could that be true? But when you watch the game and the flow of the game, I mean, hell, we were giving them points with a pick 6. That's not the defense's fault.
Yeah.
Jimmy Horn runs one across the 50 and we don't do anything with it. That's not the defense's fault.
Yeah.
The defense not only was stopping them in crucial times, we're getting them off the field, we're doing our thing. We just didn't play complementary football where the defense would have success and the offense would have success at the same time. And you look up, it's 21-0.
Yeah.
And that's the other part of this is, I think we're built to get into a shootout with teams. And the beginning of the game had a little bit of a shootout feel to it. Just Colorado's offense didn't join the shootout. We didn't bring our guns. Real quick, we are officially kicking off the first Red Zone NFL Sunday.
Go.
And we have TVs on this bus, so we are going to be watching a little NFL while we're hanging out with you guys.
Let me throw this at you, RK. Pardon the interruption. And this is not rose-colored glasses, just me being pragmatic about football. If I had to have it any kind of way, with our high-powered offense, I'm glad to see we have a defense.
No, for sure.
Because the offense is going to click again. And so the fact that we now can go to bed at night and wake up in the morning believing in our defense, we already knew to believe in the offense, you got Shedeur Sanders. You knew to believe in the offense, you got Travis Hunter, you got Jimmy Horn Jr., you got Will Shepard, you got LeJontay Wester. The list goes on and on. Question marks at running back if we don't start giving Dallin Hayden the ball more. But other than that, you know going forward, it is impossible for this offense to have multiple games where they don't show up because there's too much talent. And if the defense keeps showing up, which I like the scheme, I like the coaching, I like the talent and the depth there as well, arrow is still pointing up for me because it's going to come together.
Let me ask you guys this, because I agree with what you're saying about the offense, and I do feel like it will get back on track and put up points in a lot of games. Do you expect the offensive line to be the same when they take the field in Fort Collins?
I don't. Coach Phil Lodeholt has been making systematic adjustments all week at practice, trying things that fit based on what we're going to see. And so, one, we're not going to see these two dynamic interior guys on the defensive line, so that's going to help us change things. And then there's going to be some wake-up calls in the room. You know, coaches are going to coach. And sometimes to get a guy's attention, you got to move them around, including to the bench. So I think there will be a different look out there against Colorado State on the offensive line. Yep.
We talked all through camp and in some of the offseason. They were cross-training guys all over the place. Mm-hmm. That wasn't an accident. That was intentional. And I fully expect that shuffling will continue at practice this week, and there will be at least one new starter on the offensive line.
You know, Coach, this on the defensive side, but it is philosophically the same just in Coach Prime's organization. Coach Hart sat right over there yesterday and talked about how there's no starting linebacker. It's a week-to-week thing.
Yep.
It's a practice-to-practice and game-to-game thing. And I think that's what's going to unfold with the offensive line.
I'm going to be honest. If you guys are right about that, it's concerning to me. Now, if it works, great. You know, was it Cardell Thomas who came in late in the game? Who came in late in the game?
I'd have to go and rewatch.
Okay. Anyways, there was Khalil Benson got a little banged up, and so he came out. I want to say 55, but I'm not sure.
That might be Harden.
Okay. Anyways, there was so much time to figure out the offensive line, and so I will be concerned if after 2 weeks we're already trying to reshuffle it. Now, I also understand you don't want to change it too late. You know, it's like a baseball reference, but if you notice something your pitcher doesn't have his best stuff, get him out of there rather than letting him get shellacked for 3 runs before you say, okay, yeah, he definitely doesn't have his best stuff. Yeah. So I get it. You'd rather be early than late on making an adjustment. But just in general, I felt like that was the best 5 after going through a full fall camp. And so I'm worried about the fact that we're potentially having to reshuffle it.
And let me tell you why I'm not worried. It's 2 weeks in, 2 different opponents. And you're not going to see a defensive line the rest of the way like you saw yesterday. You're just not. And so it's a reshuffling to me for motivation and finding chemistry, not that we just don't have talent. I would be concerned like I was last year because we were lacking talent and lacking depth in talent. That's not the case this year. They had a bad game because it was a bad matchup. And you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know, when you got a brilliant guy on your team and somebody lights his – I'm doing a basketball reference. Somebody lights his ass up for 28 points. You're like, oh, man, Jake can't play defense anymore. No, Jake just got bested that night. Like, he's never going to see another guy like that the rest of the season. So when I say a reshuffling, it's not a panic reshuffling. It's, all right, guys, like, we're not here to fuck around this year. This is we're trying to win.
Yeah,
and if I got to motivate y'all by moving y'all to win, so be it. And when people are in the chat, sorry, Jake, when people are in the chat saying, oh, you need to move this guy, move that guy, that was the whole purpose of shuffling the deck all camp long.
Yeah.
So people had experience at these, because it's going to happen.
Well, we talked about it last night. Like, this game has to be a turning point. Like, this has to be an example of what cannot happen.
Yep.
So let's make it an example. You know, some guys are going to have to get called out in practice. Some guys are going to have tough conversations with Lodeholt, with Coach Prime, with Shermer. It just has to happen.
Yeah, I mean, and that is probably my other biggest takeaway from this is huge inflection point for this football team. You know, you went out on national TV, you got pushed around, you looked bad. You know, you have your rival flexing on you the whole game, and it's a big question of, okay, how do you respond? How do you bounce back? How does this team's leadership make sure that when you go to Colorado State into a severely less hostile but still hostile environment, are you better prepared for that? Are you more locked in for that? And I'm confident they will be, but this is a really big early test for the leaders on this team to go out and prove that this team is different, and all of the, you know, stuff in the offseason we talked about with bonding and brotherhood and all of that stuff. That's where this is where that can really shine through.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Real quick, someone in the comments asked about why they're going 5 wide with protection issues. To me, they did it because they're spreading out the defense more, and most 5 wide concepts have a lot more short and easy stuff that you can just look at a matchup and throw it.
Okay, if we're gonna go that way, you know, we were talking about like where's like the mix in the run game, you know, like you know, I mentioned the Travis jet sweep, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And if pass protection's an issue, and like that's why Micah's not on the field, why can't you just like roll out away from him?
Yeah.
On some like design play action stuff, just take him out of the pass pro altogether.
Totally. I mean, I talked about that last night as well. Is like there are ways to get a guy in there and not just say, oh, we're only running the ball when Micah's in.
Yeah.
You know, there's other ways to do it, so we can get creative in that regard for sure. And I just think creativity across the board could go up.
Well, shit, man. Last year in Game 1, we had the Rick Ross package.
Yeah.
Like, let's do some of that stuff. Like, let's pull out all the stops. Like, if we need to run the ball, then let's get, I mean, I don't know, Shane Cokes did it last year. Let's get him and someone else who's healthy on the defensive line to just come in and just say, we're running.
Totally.
Like, just do it.
I mean,
speaking of Coach, Coach had a good game yesterday. Shout out to Shane Cokes.
Did he?
He did.
Shout out Shane Cokes.
He definitely had a TFL that I remember. Anyways, I think creativity just across the, like, even little things is just as much as, you know, some more pre-snap motion.
Yeah.
Some more things that are just messing with the eyeballs of the defense to hopefully open up gaps on the field. And in the run game still, I mean, not once yesterday did I see a creative handoff.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, no counter. That's not even that creative. That's just standard stuff. But, I mean, we saw inside zone, maybe a little bit of trap on the inside, and then, you know, that pistol stretch run.
Yep.
We gotta try more things in the run game before you can write it off.
Exactly. Yep. All right. Let's take a quick break. And then we can go looking forward to CSU. Shout out to Sleeper, the GOATs. Chances are, you know, you're obviously watching this show if you're in the chat, but you probably have a red zone or whatever NFL game is on in your city pulled up on the second monitor on the TV, and you're probably checking your fantasy team.
I am.
And the best fantasy app out there is Sleeper. You can import your history from other leagues if you want to switch over to Sleeper. They also have picks on there, so you can do more or less. Anytime touchdowns, yardage totals, completions. We'll get into some of those later, too. If you think you have what it takes, download the Sleeper app and use the code BUFFS, BUFFS, to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today.
Love Sleeper. Also love Circle K. They fueled us up literally and figuratively for this road trip. We love our friends over at Circle K, and they were very invested in the fact that we were hitting the road because that's what they're the best at. And so they said, hey, we're going to take care of you guys. We're going to make sure that you got all the snacks, all the money you need for snacks, and all the money you need for fuel. So huge huge shout out to Circle K for supporting this. We're just getting started. So head over to circlek.com/inner-circle so you can become an Inner Circle Rewards member. And what does that mean? That means that you're going to get discounts on gas, discounts on snacks. Who doesn't want that? So become an Inner Circle Rewards member today.
If you're anti-snack, you're anti-American. That's one thing we're not going to have on this show.
Real quick, thoughts on the Giants uniforms?
Suck.
So bad.
I love the winged helmet, but yeah, they're not great.
Those are, I would maybe go as far as to say catastrophic.
They're pretty bad.
If I knew they were wearing those uniforms, which I think I did like weeks ago, but if I thought about it today, I would have bet against them.
I bet against them all the time because they're in my division.
Honestly,
and I hate them.
If it weren't for the beige pants,
yeah,
I could maybe come around on them. But like, this like old school look, that color pants should be left in the past.
Yep. CSU. What needs to change? What's your eye on? What are you thinking about when it comes to that game? Who wants to go first?
I mean, protection. That is going to be the beginning and end of this. Obviously, we talked more about, we talked a lot about how they can run the ball more, how they can commit to running the ball more, and that's a big part of this. But in the end, you are going to go as far this season as you enable Shedeur Sanders to take you.
Yep.
And while nobody played well yesterday, you have to do a better job on the offensive line of enabling Shedeur Sanders to be the best that he can be. So, to me, that's the number one thing that needs to improve going into next week, and the number one thing that I will be focusing on, especially as I watch film and scout CSU coming into the game, is like last year they had Mo Camara.
Yep.
He was a dog. He gave us a lot of trouble.
Yep.
I'm curious to see if they have guys this year that can create that sort of havoc.
Similar thing, and it's the same thing we talked about yesterday, but the running game. It's just got to be more creative, man. Different formations, motions, we've mentioned all this, but that's, to me, the biggest thing that has to change. You need to go into Big 12 conference play with some identity in the running game. I don't care what it is. I don't care who it is running the ball, what the offensive line is. There needs to be some sort of direction and go-to stuff when it comes to the run game.
I mean, last 2 weeks, they started with at least 3 straight passes. And so this one was, 6?
I think it was 10 of their first 11 plays.
Okay, so then it would have been 10 because the 11th play was the
4th and 1.
4th and 1.
Yeah.
To me, the beginning of the game is when you want to at least pretend like you're going to, make the defense think about the run.
Yeah.
Come out there against CSU, like I said last night, you found something in the pistol. So come out there and run the ball at least once in the first 3 plays out of that formation.
Yep. Uncle?
Same things for me for this past week. 4 less penalties again.
Yep.
Got to get a takeaway. Shiloh had that pick 6 last year. He won't be in the game likely this year, but we got to get a takeaway, and we can't give the ball away. We can't turn the ball over. But equal to that or maybe even above it, we got to give the best player in college football time. That's Shedeur. And Shedeur has to do better with that time. He's got to get the ball out of his hand quicker. When there's decisions to be made, you got to go ahead and make it. Defensively, I like where we are. It would be nice if what we're adjusting to in the second half, if we can adjust to during the week and come out like it's the second half.
Yeah.
Instead of getting it wrong and adjusting, get it right from the get-go. So it'd be great if the offense and defense and special teams not only start fast against Colorado State, but play complementary football throughout the game instead of having one of the 3 or 2 of the 3 and getting set back in other regards. With the loss to Nebraska, or the look of the loss, or the way we lost, you're de facto making Colorado State a must-win game because you can't go into conference play having lost 2 in a row.
No.
Because you got to have confidence
Yeah.
going into conference play. And so you got to split. Like you messed around and lost one of them. You got to get the next one before Baylor comes to town. So it is categorically become a must-win game now.
Yeah, well, and Drewski just said in the comments, Big 12 is wide open, fellas. Woosa.
It really is.
It totally is.
Yeah, we'll get to
it.
that.
Totally is. But that's also why immediately this week, this team needs to show that they're ready to jump into the Big 12 and make some noise.
Yep. Just since the chat is talking about it, and I tweeted about it today, but the taking Shedeur off the field stuff, that's blown up since we last did a show.
Okay.
Let's look, man. 1, he was banged up.
Mm-hmm.
2, and you told me this, Unc, that you could see from the sidelines, from behind you guys, that the fans were getting ready to rush the field.
We knew they were going to rush the field before the game if they won. Like we have tweets and public documents from early in the week where they're saying if we win, we're rushing the field.
Yeah, it was a whole debate on Husker Twitter all week.
So you have your starting QB, who again got banged up at the end, but he's fine. We had even probably about 2 or 3 minutes left. If you go watch footage, I don't know if the network television covered it or not. What would have been the offensive end of the field of the bench, we didn't even go sit back down there because that's where they were coming over at.
Yeah.
And so we moved everybody closer to the exit so we could get off the field because at that point in the game, you knew you were going to lose.
Oh, yeah.
And you had read about what they were going to do if you lose. So Shiloh's in the sling, like, hey, find him. Block Bully's in the sling, find him. Like, get the guys who are already banged up out of the way because they won't be able to move themselves. And let's start ushering our way that way because when this flood comes over, you don't want to be 1 and 2 of your teammates in a crowd of 30,000 students and no one knows where you are.
And just to go back to Shedeur, he's obviously a target from the media and from other fan bases.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Obviously.
He gets shots all the time online. Just whatever he does, people always talk about it. So you got to get him off the field there, man. You don't know what's going to happen.
The amount of things that could have gone awry with him being out there on the field while the fans are rushing the field is a long list. So I have absolutely no issue with him going off the field before that happened. And I also have no issue with Nebraska fans rushing the field.
Yeah.
I'm always pro rush the field for an exciting win, big win for your program. But the one negative of rushing the field is it can be dangerous. And that has, reared its head before. So I would much prefer as many players as possible get out of there safely and just make sure nothing goes bad. And I honestly had a keen eye on it while they were rushing the field and the players are still on there. I'm just like, okay, please, nothing happen. No players go up. No one, no fights break out. None of that.
Just another thing about Shedeur, just because it's the conversation. Obviously, the play calling was suspect, and we talked about that, but there's the daddy ball accusations are coming back. First off,
did they ever go away?
They don't, but they're all talking about they're trying to pad Shedeur's stats for the Heisman. Like, can we just use some common sense here? To be in contention for the Heisman, you need to win.
Yep.
And we know that the way that the play calling in the direction of the offense right now is not winning football. So let's just use.
That's you just nailed the point right there. Like Coach Prime has said it, the players have said it. They're not focused on individual awards because they know no matter what the individual stats are, if it's not a winning team, you don't get that damn award.
Yeah.
And the same thing with drafting. Back with spring ball and again in the summer, Coach Prime put up on the screen, these are schools with the most guys drafted. And you know what they got in common?
Yep.
They won games. Yeah. You want to punch people drafted in this room? Win games.
If anyone thinks that anyone in that locker room is more interested in stats than winning, you're an idiot.
Yeah. But on the CSU side, I was texting Justin this morning. Still no update on Torrey Horton. It is his hamstring.
Okay.
With the speed that he has and how he plays, I would be surprised if he is suited up and plays for the Rams on Saturday.
I would too. And again, not knowing what the injury is, it's hard to speak on it. But it would almost feel reckless with a NFL prospect of that caliber, putting him out there on the field with a hamstring injury without having time to heal. Hamstrings, in general, are finicky injuries that you can't necessarily put a timeline on it, but almost always more time is better than less. Now there is, I guess, the off chance that it was just like a tweak and they brought him out of the game for precautionary reasons, and then they come out of it finding, okay, it's actually fine, it's just a little sore. Then I could see him playing, but you never know. It's a massive rivalry game, and so he's obviously going to want to be out there. But if it's anything more than just it felt a little weird and it ended up being completely fine, it would be shocking to see him play.
Yeah, I mean, just like in our instance, like if Travis came up lame with a hammy last night or something, yes, knock on wood. What Coach Prime would do is exactly what you just said. Travis has got a long future in football. Like, yes, it's a big game on Saturday, but it's more about the future for Travis, and in this case, Torrey Horton, than it is for the game on Saturday. So I'd be surprised to see him play. The Rams did win yesterday. I don't have the final score.
Fetty Wap, 17-38.
Oh, okay. There you go. But yeah, I haven't seen anything really from that game other than the punt return from Torrey. But we'll get into scouting and stuff, of course, later this week. But yeah, as you mentioned with Kamara, this team are down one significant impact player compared to the team that they had last year. Maybe two.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else on CSU?
Let's talk sleeper.
Let's talk sleeper. Let's do our picks.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we've got sleeper picks, 3 each.
Another shout out too. Speaking of places who made this whole trip possible, sleeper was absolutely essential in making it possible for us to go out on the road this year. And one of the exciting things was, we're going to be able to go live on Sundays, something we've never done before. So we'll be out here, watching NFL games, talking NFL, get our fantasy football out, and make our sleeper picks, which sleeper picks is fun, man.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it.
You want to go first, then?
I will. Let me pull it up because it just disappeared off of my app really quick. So, if you guys don't know about sleeper picks, it is an awesome way to bet on and flex your ball knowledge of knowing how much these games and what's going to go down in these games. So, here's what I got. Bo Nix season begins today. I think that Sean Payton is going to have a very easy completion-focused game plan for Bo Nix. Just keep it short, keep it sweet, keep it easy.
That's an unbelievable throw.
That was that A-Rich?
Yeah.
Damn. And so I think that you're going to see the Broncos complete a ton of passes today, but short, easy stuff. So I've got Bo Nix, more than 19.5 completions. Jaleel McLaughlin, I like a number where it's just like he just has to do his thing once.
Yeah.
22.5 rushing yards. Cortland Sutton, anytime touchdown. And DK Metcalf, less than 61.5 receiving yards because Pat Surtain's going to lock it up.
Love it. I also went heavy on the Denver Broncos, and Bo Nix is the first one.
Wait, really quick. That is, with that multiplier, 7.91x. So that's 10. Let me see what we got here. 4.7.91. Oh no, that's 15. Sorry, 15.03x.
Nice.
So that's $10 for 150.
I'm starting with Bo Nix again. I agree with you. I think the game plan is going to be pretty straightforward for him. It's going to be a lot of layups that Sean Payton builds. But we saw Bo's strength kind of in the preseason. That's operating in the RPO game. And I have him more than 16.5 rushing yards. that could be one play. I mean, the guy has underrated speed and athleticism. So give me that. Give me a Javonte Williams anytime touchdown. Welcome back, Javonte. And then I took Mike Evans more than 73.5 receiving yards. This guy has been a monster, one of the best and most consistent receivers in the league for a while. If you got him in your fantasy league, you probably got great value on him. I like him to have a big day because that's just what he does.
And I went heavy on the boys being my boys. I don't need that crap, man.
Oh, real quick. Mine was a multiplier of 7.11.
All right.
Now that part I'll need. I went heavy on the boys. First shout out to my guy. Sucked my guy up, Dak Prescott. Signed his deal. 4 years, $240. Hey! Cowboy for life now.
Do, like, the pregame show listeners and obviously DNVR as well know about your connection with Dak?
Probably not in the past year because but historically speaking, Jack State they do. So yeah, we do have a personal relationship. Friend of mine, do Thanksgiving dinner. First one I missed was this past year because we had a Thanksgiving game, and I guess I'll miss this year because we got a Thanksgiving game again. Shout out to my man Dak Prescott. Signed his deal on hours before taking on the Cleveland Browns. I got Dak over his yards, which was 190 something, I think.
No, you have Dak over touchdowns.
Over touchdowns.
1.5.
I thought I picked him up. Oh, yeah, 1.5 on
more
his
touchdowns.
More touchdowns, yes.
And then we got Zeke on his yardage.
32.5 rushing yards.
32. He might get that on one carry because his boy is 214. If you don't know, Zeke used to be 21. Dak is 4. The area code for Dallas is 214. They used to get off together. 214, man. Zeke is wearing a new number now, though. And then we went to Detroit.
Yes.
I got golf under. I think he was at 266 or something.
266.5.
Got
him under that.
Yeah.
Got him less than that. Nice.
I got him less than that. Just a little hating. Just a little hating.
You're just being a Dak or a Jared Goff hater?
The colors are similar to ours. We're going to end up facing each other in the playoffs. Let the hate begin now.
Yeah, fair enough.
Why would I wait to December to hate? Let's go now.
Fair enough.
That is a 6.17 multiplier for Unk. Those are our sleeper picks for the week. We'll be tracking these. We'll have standings for them, and we'll see who knows ball the best.
By the way, someone in the comments said, wow, you guys actually went live. I didn't think you would after that game. This is the second time we've been live since that game ended.
Yeah.
Rain, snow, or shine.
We're not a fair weather show.
You just take this one on the chin.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else can you do?
Well, we took it a lot of other places.
That's true.
Yeah, no, it is what it is. It's over. It wasn't a dream. Everyone woke up this morning and said, yep, that definitely happened.
Talladega Nights, that just happened.
Yeah, exactly. So
shake and bake.
It wasn't fun. It's disappointing. Unfortunately, it's not like a normal game that just goes away after time. It's going to be talked about for a long time. Nebraska fans are going to hold that over us. But that has nothing to do with the rest of this season. So you just, like you said, you just got to take the punch and move on.
And we have a game on Saturday, so
Travis Etienne just scored.
Let's go.
He's on my fantasy team with the specialists, and so
my fantasy team on Sleeper is so nasty. It's unbelievable. I'm in a dynasty league. We're in year 5 of it, maybe 4. I got last place the first 3 years.
Wow.
So I got I started off bad. Like Saquon Barkley was my first ever first round pick. He tore his ACL in week 1, I think, that year.
Yeah.
I had all sorts of injuries, so I just started tanking. And now I'm stacked. It's very fun.
I'll tell you this. Let me give another shout out back home to the Gulf Coast Fantasy Football League. We started this league 15 years ago. You have to live in a state that touches the Gulf Coast, the Gulf of Mexico. And I've got a couple championships under my belt. We got a trophy that rotates where you get your name engraved on it. We got rings and now a championship belt. Shout out to all those guys. That's my main league that I make sure I get that shit set before I do anything else. But I'm loving fantasy football, man, because it makes you just be a part of it. But I hate drafting guys who are in the division and they're not a Cowboy, because you're sitting there like, oh man, score that. Then like, no, don't score that. And when the Cowboys are playing, I can't start somebody that's playing them.
I like that.
Emotionally, I can't do
love
it, man.
the dedication.
I respect
do
it. I respect it.
Well, if we're shouting out leagues, shout out to the League 14 with my homies from
League
back
14.
The League 14, what does it mean?
14 years the league has been going.
Does it? So the name changes every year?
Yeah, we do it in Roman numerals like the Super Bowl, too.
Oh, man. I like
Nice.
that.
Yeah.
I like that for sure. What's your team name?
My team name is Hip Thrust with Von Miller doing his dance.
Wow, so you've had that name for a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
My team back home is the Mississippi Money Changers. You know,
All
Jesus flipped the table over with the Money Changers, so that I'm here to disrupt.
Let's go. My team's name is Immaculate Vibes.
That's the DNVR way.
Exactly.
So Alejandro Mata, our kicker, he started a league for the specialists. Asked Unc to be a part of it. I said sure. And my team name there is the Drunk Uncles.
I like it.
Everybody needs a drunk uncle.
So
in
how
their
many
life.
teams are in this? Or how many players?
12 of us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Dempsey sucks, even though we just started. Dempsey, like, his first pick.
All Broncos.
Dempsey will admit that he doesn't know fantasy football, like never played it.
Yeah.
No disrespect to DK Metcalf, but that was his first pick.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
not
he
good.
went out and picked like 3 defenses.
Oh,
we like
no.
Dempsey, like you.
No, no.
I think he got like 3 defenses and 2 kickers. Like you need a running back and a receiver, man. Like you got to get people to go accrue points.
That makes me sad.
All right, let's hit this last break, and then we can just open it up for whatever.
Nope, we got other stuff to hit.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, I sent you a rundown.
Lock in,
Oh,
Jake.
sorry. I moved that. I thought it said segment 3.
Okay. Well, you said... I'm confused. Anyways, go on.
I just look for a reason to tell him lock in, even when it's not legit.
So shout out Breck Brew.
Sure.
We love Breckenridge Brewery. They're the homies. They've been with us for forever. If you ever make it down to the Denver area, go to the Breck Farmhouse. It's incredible. Take a tour of the brewery, get some bomb food, or just come down to the DNVR bar, hang out with us. We got Breck Brews on tap and in cans. You can check out Breck Brew's new West Coast style IPA. It's called the Ridge Runner. It's a double dry hop brew inspired by the untamed beauty of Colorado's trails and creates notes of bright citrus and pine. You can find that and all their other delicious beers over at the Breckenridge Brewery beer locator at breckbrew.com.
There's a knob up in the left area. We're trying to get the windshield wipers on. Yeah, it's up left knob. It has like a button in the middle. That's how you would put the windshield wiper fluid on. But you turn it to the right to get the wipers to go. There we go.
And then shout out us, DNVR events.
DNVR events. Hey, you've got, a couple hours here before the Broncos start. Get down to the DNVR bar. Check out the game there. I'm sure it's going to be packed. It's bow season. It's time to bow.
LFB.
Have a Ralphie, not dry aged. Just get it direct out the back. Maybe get you one to go and dry age it, but have a Ralphie. You'll love it.
Hell yeah. Check them out, though. Go to the bar, hang out there, or go to thednvr.com/events to check out the calendar of events we have coming.
What do you want to talk? Big 12, NFL, fantasy.
Isn't this segment 3?
Oh, yes. Sorry. That's my fault.
My
I'm sorry.
God.
I'm sorry.
L.I.J.
Lock in, Jake. All right, so we're starting a new series. This series will obviously become more robust as we have more data points across the season as we go through. But we start with Lincoln, Nebraska, and eventually we're gonna have like ranking boards in here.
Okay.
So this season we're ranking 2 things in every town that we go to: how is the food scene, and how is the bar scene. To me, from a college football visiting standpoint, and we'll also eventually rank the atmospheres that we saw. But we truly don't have any data points for that yet. So
let me do this like they do on College Game Day. Let me be Herb Street.
okay.
Neely's calling the game tonight, so he can't pick. And the truth is, I didn't make it to Lincoln to eat.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't want to skew the data by just making up some BS, because I was with the team hotel in Omaha and I ate the hotel food. So I didn't get to the bar scene in Lincoln or the restaurant scene in Lincoln. So I got to sit this one out.
Unc never stops working, so he didn't get a chance to try the food in the bars with us.
I mean, I did see the footage of the corn eating contest, which was hilarious.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, this is
Incredible.
I heard it at the tailgate, but I was trying to send a text message, which was about a 30-minute process at
Yes.
around that stadium. Anyways, so everywhere we go, we're ranking the bars, we're ranking the food, and we'll start with the food, which is presented by Circle K. So let's get our food rankings. Jake, we had a couple meals.
Yes, we did.
I had a bite of a Runza.
We need a rating immediately.
Yeah, dude. You can't just tease that.
Runza specifically, I'll give a 5.4. It's not inoffensive, but wouldn't crave it.
Okay.
I got you.
So there's that. And I'm not going to throw any specific businesses under the bus here. But we got a recommendation for a place to eat on Friday, so you have that under your belt. Jake, you want to start? Rank the food scene of Lincoln, Nebraska. 1 to 10. No rookie scores.
Overall,
That we experienced, obviously.
yes.
We only had a couple days.
4.6.
So,
Leaves a lot to be desired.
I had some issues.
Did you have issues on the front end, the back end, or both?
I didn't personally. Well, like my body's fine. My body was
I gotta tell
okay.
you, dudes, when you're ranking food, you can't just rank the front end. You got to rank the aftermath. Because you could have some great damn food
That just doesn't
and have a
happen to
bad
me.
time the next morning
I'll tell
and be
the
like, I
story.
regret the food.
I think that the food, a normal person would have been in big trouble with the food that I ate on Friday night. Me, I have an iron
Yeah,
stomach.
you have the stomach of a dragon. Like, not eat whatever.
I got on Friday night something called prime rib enchiladas,
Yeah.
which sounded really awesome.
Yeah.
It was so bad, and it was
Too
cold,
greasy, cold. What was
and
it?
it didn't. It was just ground beef. Like, it was not prime rib by any stretch of the mind.
Yeah.
It was supposed to have green chili on it. There wasn't a spice to be found. I am giving the food scene of Nebraska a 3.6.
I was trying to be nice, but I wasn't impressed at all. And I
Yeah.
had a bug on my plate.
Oh,
that
bro.
takes it way down.
Well, this is what I was trying to tell you. When I had issues.
Yeah.
So the story is,
So Jake didn't want to. Did you not want to tell this story at the dinner table because you felt like it would be unappetizing?
I just wanted to get out of there, honestly.
I honestly thought it was a hair, and I was like, I know exactly what he's saying.
And then the hair moved?
And then
Or the hair got legs?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell the story. So
But wait, my burger was actually pretty good. It had like a pepperoncini aioli, other than
Oh.
being like undercooked.
what's your Lincoln food scene rating then? No rookie scores.
Oh, I gotta be like a 4.5, 3.5
Everybody's under
0.5, kind of a rookie
Yeah,
score.
0.5. You're cutting it there.
It's okay though. 3.5.
3.5.
All right.
There you
That's
go.
all. That's all I can give it.
Okay, anyways, so we pull up to this restaurant and we show up late, right? Like they're close to closing time. It is what it is at that point, right? You kind of know what you're getting in for.
Yeah, that was our first mistake. Well, we probably had no other choice.
But I order my food. Also, not the warmest food I've ever eaten in my life.
Yeah, mine was on the verge of being called cold.
So the server like brings up the food to the table and she's like handing it out like in the circle around the table. And she gets to me and she puts the plate down. And right when her thumb like comes up off the plate, there's just a little like beetle thing.
Oh no, a beetle?
It's something, I don't know.
And it was alive.
It was crawling.
Yeah.
And I just flicked
Flicked it?
it off the
Yeah.
thing and everyone's like RG and Mitch saw it. But like everyone else at the table was like, what is going on? And like Alyssa said, she thought it was a hair and stuff. And I was just like, yeah, we'll talk about this once we leave the establishment. Just let me get through this meal, please.
I
God.
witnessed a Nebraska food ranking.
Okay.
Shout out to Damian Lewis, D-line coach. Breakfast Saturday morning. They had a traditional hotel buffet kind of thing for the team, but there was an omelet guy at the end of it. And so everybody knew to get omelets because the eggs on the service line were those like powdered eggs, the deal, not real eggs. So D-Lou is at the omelet line, and he orders his omelet. And all of a sudden, he just disappears, like he walked off. I was like, man, where the hell is he going? People just really sit here and wait on him. He came back with a salt and pepper shaker, and while the guy was cooking his omelet, he's leaning over the counter seasoning, and he looks at me like, hey, man, these guys don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't know how to make omelets. I got to help him.
Oh, man.
So I think he's going to be in that 3.5 range with y'all, because he had to season his own omelet while it was being cooked.
Yeah, not a lot of spice in that state.
And he ain't the kind of guy you say don't do that to. Or, you know, if you're the chef doing omelets, like, you're not going to say, hey.
Yeah.
Like, this is first round D lineman drafted from the U in Miami, and he barks when he talks. So if you want to cook your own omelet, go right ahead. That's what the guy looked like. You want to come around here where you can reach it?
So the bar is set low for the remaining cities on the Great American Stampede.
Now, on the flip side, we go into the bar rankings presented by Breck Brewery.
Yes.
And I've been to Lincoln before, and so I knew a little bit about the bar scene there. But we went to the top, I think the most classic college bar in Lincoln on Friday night, known as Barry's. And right off the top, if I'm saying the name, I'm going to say good things about it. That is a great bar.
Yeah.
That is legitimately a great bar. Huge downstairs bar area, plenty of room to get up and get a drink down there, and then a great rooftop. Great rooftop bar up there. The only big complaint I had is that they had probably blown out their speakers many years ago.
Oh my god! And then they put them on like max volume.
Yeah, exactly. So the speakers are just pounding in your ear with just static noise. But legitimately, I would call that a top tier college bar. That's everything you look for in a college bar.
Yeah.
1 to 10?
And
1 to 10?
Hold on, I'll get there. And at one point we ordered 4 doubles.
Mm-hmm.
Guess how much it cost?
I know how much it costs.
Okay. Guess how much it cost for 4 doubles?
4 doubles of what?
3 double tequila sodas and 1 double vodka soda.
$40.
$27.
Good bar price.
That's a big notch.
Yeah.
In the totem pole there for Barry's. So I'm going to give it I got to leave room here because we're going to go to a lot of different places. I don't want to go too high, but I'll call that a 8.9.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, 8.9. And it would have been, I just can't get to the 9 because of those speakers.
Yep.
It's the only knock I got on them.
Yep. I'll knock the speakers. I'll knock the annoying drunk Nebraska fans trying to pick fights.
There was one, yep.
So I'll say very highly rated, but 8.4.
Okay.
Solid bar. Great
No
bar.
bugs?
Not that I saw.
Okay.
Not in my drink, at least.
It's always good when you don't see them.
What is it? Ignorance is bliss, right?
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
So
There you go.
Speaking of, where's RG? Did we leave him at the truck stop?
he is in the back.
Oh,
Sleeping.
okay.
He's been in that bed since we got on the bus.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
It's Sleeper Sunday. I guess Jake and I are the only ones who didn't, and Captain Tyler, who didn't.
Thank God.
Who didn't nod off on the first leg of this trip.
I kind of tried. I laid
Yeah, that looks so
across
uncomfortable.
on that one. I was like, I put my feet on the stove, and I was like, yeah, not working. Then I went across both of the seats of the table, and I was like, yeah, my back and my butt are just sliding down into the floor here. It's just not comfortable. So, and I tried laying my head down on the table, did not work either.
Oh, I know that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Not while it's moving.
I had used a pillow. I thought it would help, but yeah, it took like 1 minute of trying to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna stay up.
Yep. For anyone saying that we're trying to avoid talking about the game by talking about food, we did a whole
Brother.
an hour and a half last night.
We have just talked
And the
at
first
least an
segment
hour and
of
45 minutes of last night's game combined
Yes.
from this show and last night's. So
Yes.
Yeah, you got the class late.
Right. Also, we're doing a show live from an RV on a road trip. We're gonna tell some stories from the road.
Yeah, that's the purpose.
But if you want straight game talk, Go watch the post-game show.
You have 75 minutes from last night.
Yeah.
And
Plus,
by the time you finish that,
the
this will
first
be over.
30
You can
minutes
watch
of this show?
Yeah.
Yep.
Get all you want.
Yep.
So over 100 minutes of
And we're
just
on
football talk.
YouTube. You can rewind live streams. Just drag the bar to the beginning of the
Oh, yeah.
show. There you
Oh,
go.
yeah.
What do you want to hit? Big 12? CFP in general?
Let's hit Super Chats first.
Super Chats.
Well, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, first one, the Cape Crusader. You guys shouldn't suppress the audience. A lot of super chats were ignored last night. You have to let people voice their complaints and concerns.
Oh, I think that absolutely that you have a place to voice your complaints and concerns. But at the same time, if you're going to say, nasty things about players, or you're going to say nasty things about us, or cross certain lines, just because, you gave us $2 doesn't mean that you get to say anything you want.
Amen. Thank you.
And you get to say it. You typed it.
Yeah, you got it for sure.
It just wasn't read.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
everybody in the chat saw it.
There is a line, and everyone should know where that is. To me, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah. I mean, chances are if you send a super chat, we saw it, and then hundreds of people in the chat saw it as well. So you were most likely seen.
Yes.
$4.99 super chat from Mark Yerish. DJ says, could we see the tight ends being used more in the running passing game going forward? And I'm loving the RV chat, fellas. Go Buffs. # get the likes up.
Yeah, I would hope so. There was a couple of the few running plays we had. Mm-hmm. There were times tight ends went into the game, but the running play went away from them, which, maybe that's disguised misdirect, but you bring in an extra guy to block, and he's not part of the play. So I'm optimistic, that will continue. I do see it at practice. I've seen, sets where there are 2 tight ends in the game of practice.
Where's that? I'm sorry.
I know. I said it before the game. I said, let's run some toss out of shotgun if we want to run a shotgun.
Next one, FPSD says, the play calling is definitely going to have an impact on what Juju decides.
Everything has an impact on recruiting. I mean, it's just it's legitimately like college football 25, where you have all those rankings. It's campus, it's play style, it's facilities, it's coaching prestige, it's championship contender. I mean, that's real. That's it's not as quantifiable as it is in the game, but that's real life.
Yep.
Everything plays a role.
The Giants' helmets and uniforms play absolutely no role. It has no place on TV.
Well, thankfully for them, they don't have to recruit.
Jermaine Super Chat says, tough loss last night. Thank y'all for the #DNVR road trip streams. Here's some money for snacks.
Thank you.
Sure. By the way, how many streams have we done this weekend?
4?
So it would normally be 2, right?
Pre and post.
So yeah, we've doubled the content from the road here.
Yep. And the one on Friday was an hour 45.
Yep. And the show last night was 75 minutes.
So was pregame.
And there you go. So we've maybe even 2.5x'd the content.
What we did on this trip is basically how long we're on air for during the week.
Hell yeah. I love it. Thanks for everyone who tuned in.
Yes.
And is still hanging out with us.
$20 super chat from DJ again says, do you think recruiting players in the trenches at the high school level will be top priority going forward over transfer portal? All supporters donate 5430 Alliance NIL if we want the best elite players.
There you go. Love that last part. Not that I'm against the first part. I think in this new era of college football, when you have to have immediate impact, the emphasis is going to stay and remain on the transfer portal and not just in Boulder, Colorado, just anywhere, except Clemson, and you see what's happening to them. I think there's a balance to it, and there's, who you want that fits your program. Like you got a Jordan Seaton that's a true freshman and actually out there playing, but that's augmented with a Khalil Benson and a Rock. I don't think you're going to go out and get 8 high school offensive linemen to come into your program because the ability for them to impact you right now will be severely limited.
For sure. And what was the first part of the question?
Do you think recruiting players in the trenches at the high school level will be a top priority over the transfer portal going forward?
Yeah.
It is. Chauncey Gooden's committed. Jay Gardenhire's committed. You've seen If you follow the young coach, Corey Phillips, on Instagram, you can look at his story, and he can kind of give you a sneak peek.
Yeah, for sure.
Next super chat from Robert says, the run game is about attitude and prep. Does CU ever practice 1v1s in the run game? Barnett and McCartney did this.
Yes.
Super chat from East Coast Kez said, I've been fighting trolls and for CU, but it's time for a come to Jesus moment. Prime has too many friends and not enough coaches. Too many yes men around Prime. Put Khalil back at right tackle, Brown at guard or center.
Man, I mean, look at the coaching staff. It's all people. I mean, not all people, but we're talking about, real coaching experience. This is not an inexperienced coaching staff that, that you could say that they aren't coaches. Look at Robert Livingston and the experiences that he's had. Look at, Damian Lewis. You can go through this and just look at George Hilo. Like, they're constantly adding and trying to improve this coaching staff with guys who coach.
Yep.
Aloha Buff
Pat Shurmur isn't a friend of, he didn't get hired because he's Coach Prime's friend.
Right.
Now, we need much better from Pat Shurmur, don't get me wrong. But I don't agree with the idea that only friends are being hired here.
I so disagree with it, I'm not going to reply to it because I'll cuss.
Sounds good.
Aloha Buff says, I have Pat Shurmur PTSD from the Broncos days. Yesterday losses on him, and Coach Prime needs to get that fixed.
He did not have a good game. He had a bad game. And I think, honestly, from the start, the plan was not good. So, yeah, I'm with you. Again, one game sample. I thought the game plan offensively was really good the week before. They lit up the scoreboard. They threw the ball all over the rock, or all over the yard. So, let's get another good one this week.
Aloha Buff says Dean, so shout out Dean.
Shout out Dean.
He's our guy.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, man.
Sorry on the haters says, Jake, I'm running 5 wide. What defense are you running?
I'm not a coach, but if I had a base defense, it'd probably be cover 3.
Another one from Sorry on the haters says, what are the significance of rivalries to you?
That's why we love college football. It's why we're so down after last night.
Yeah, absolutely. Rivalry, to me, it's all about the rivalries. It's why, while a lot of fans want to do away with the Rocky Mountain Showdown, and I understand their reasoning why they want to, I'm not a part of that group because I love rivalries. I think that the games where you walk into the stadium and you can feel the stakes, your heart's beating a little extra because you're thinking, oh man, if we lose this game, we're going to hear about it forever. Games that the students want to rush the field after they win. To me, that's what it's all about. It makes college football different than any other sport to me because, you can talk Yankees, Red Sox, or Lakers, Celtics, or whatever, historical pro sports rivalry that you want to talk about. None of them have the vitriol and true, division that exists in a real college football rivalry. So, the rivalry, I've told this story many times, but I fell in love with college football in 2001 at a Colorado-Nebraska game that the Buffs happened to win 62-36. That atmosphere and that feeling around that game is what made me, fall in love with the sport. So rivalries are everything.
Is that it?
Sorry. One more. Just a super chat from Kevin Riley.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Kevin.
Chat, can you guys just chill a little bit, please?
They're not going to, so that's a waste of your energy. But we got a day. Oh, are we in Colorado yet?
Almost, I think.
My phone changed time.
Yeah,
did
the
it?
time zone is 50 miles east of the border.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yep. We are in Big Springs, which is the first town in Nebraska, or in this case, the last town in Nebraska. So we are about to finally leave this godforsaken state.
Sorry, one more super chat here from Paisley Jones says, why do people ignore the fact it's week 2? We have 10 more weeks.
Great point. But
Yes.
that's football. This isn't, like basketball where you got another game tomorrow night to bounce back from. Every game lasts at least a week, and when it comes to a rivalry, it lasts longer than that. So I get why people are upset right now. That being said, you're right. 10 more weeks. And I saw this happen with the opposite is true for CSU right now. They got their doors blown off in week 1 by Texas. The sky was falling. They went out there. They won a game against Northern Colorado yesterday. Now, the hope has returned. So each week, whether you win or lose, is going to get a massive reaction one way or the other.
Yep.
That's it.
All right.
Do we want to talk Big 12 and everything else, or
I'm in no rush.
are you good, Allie? Let's do a little Big 12 talk then.
A little roundup.
Little roundup. Let me just pull it up. All right. Let's start with a game we talked about on Thursday. Arkansas,
Excuse me.
from the SEC, traveled to Stillwater. They took on Oklahoma State. Great game. Went to overtime, double overtime at that. Oklahoma State pulls out a tough, hard-fought win, 39-31 over the Razorbacks. Big win for the Cowboys.
Yeah, this was a kind of a theme this week of
Oh my God!
great throw, great catch.
Is that Burton?
I don't think so. This was a theme this week was a Big 12 team looks very beatable and then pulls out the win. And actually it happened last week too, Texas Tech being an example of a team that did not look good last week and they were able to still win. So let me ask you, is that like the best thing that can happen for the conference? Like you get the wins for the conference, but from a CU perspective, you look out and say, okay, that team looks very beatable.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's happened a lot.
It has. Continuing down the line, another team we will see, Kansas State, went on the road to, they play New Orleans,
Tulane.
right?
Tulane.
Yep, New Orleans.
So they went on the road to New Orleans. This was another battle too, man.
Yeah, I thought Tulane was going to get that, man.
Tulane really kind of just petered out in the second half, but it was a 27-27 game late. Kansas State, was it scoop and score, I think it was,
Yeah.
to take the lead. They end up winning 34-27. Dylan Edwards had a touchdown in this game.
He did, and he did the prime high step into
Yes,
the
he
end
did.
zone.
Yep.
A lot
Shout
of
out
people were saying that was he was doing that in a negative way. I think it was more of an ode than anything else.
What the hell is wrong with people?
A lot of things.
Like Coach Prime coached him in Little League.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Like they're family friends.
totally.
There was no animosity when he transferred.
Two things on that game. When we were sitting in the office on Friday, we had an argument over whether or not the slate was good.
Yeah.
I said it was good. Andre said it was bad. And one of the games that I mentioned as a good game was Kansas State Tulane. I said Tulane's got a good program. Just want to point that out. The other thing, Avery Johnson honeymoon coming to an end.
So yesterday, he wasn't terrible, I guess. 15 of 23 for 181 and 2 tuds.
Okay.
He also had 8 rushes for 40 yards, and
He has struggled to push the ball down the field in these first 2 games.
I'm trying to see how many times he was sacked. He was not sacked. So, a little bit of context. Pitt beat Cincinnati in Cincinnati, 28-27. Pitt rebounds after getting the doors beat off them by Penn State, one of the best teams in the country. But Cincinnati is a little bit who we thought they were. They were in a fight, though. That's a team, though, with a really good defensive tackle that we will have to face. I don't know if they have a duo. I think they do have another guy, but it's not to the level of Nebraska. So,
Good point.
Baylor and Utah in the Big 12 conference game, non-conference game.
Yes.
Cam Rising got hurt. He injured his throwing hand.
He's got a big, wrap on the 2 fingers on his throwing hand.
And, man, the Utes were rolling when Cam was in. It was 17-0 in the first quarter. At halftime, the score was 23-3. The final score ends up being 23-12. Utah beating Baylor. Cam threw for 92 yards and 2 touchdowns before leaving the game early. So Utah is kind of who we thought they were. If Cam Rising's on, watch out.
Yep. They are Utah.
Iowa State.
By the way, Baylor.
Oh, yeah, Baylor, for sure.
Did not look good.
I can't remember who told me, but someone came up to me, and they were watching the game at the tailgate, and the stat line supports this. They said Daquan Finn, not it for them. He went 9-21, 115 yards, 1 touchdown.
Okay.
He also had 13 carries for 7 yards, so he probably got sacked. He got sacked 3 times. Iowa State, big win in their rivalry game. Oh!
That looked like the Bentley thing.
Yeah.
Iowa State with a big win over Iowa at Kinnick. A field goal to win that game. 6 seconds left. A 54-yarder. Iowa State moves to 2-0. Rocco Beck, 23-35, 272, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception.
All right. Yeah, that was a big win for them. It was kind of classic Iowa, right? They're kind of dominant throughout the game and can't turn that into points, and eventually it comes back to bite them.
West Virginia beat Albany 49-14. Illinois with the upset over Kansas on the road. The 19-ranked Jayhawks fall 23-17. UCF beat up on Sam Houston 45-14.
Wait. What was the Kansas score?
23-17 Illinois.
Whoa.
Yeah. Oklahoma invited the Houston Cougars to town, a team who we talked about as being potentially the worst team in the conference.
And they looked really bad in week 1, did they not? I forget what.
Oklahoma? Or,
no, Houston.
Oh, Houston? Yeah, I think they got worked.
Yeah.
Or shut out, something like that.
Oh, was that who played the UNL
I'm pulling
or New
it up.
Mexico, right?
UNLV beat Houston 27-7.
Okay, yeah, okay. So they looked terrible in week 1.
They bounce back against the number 15 team in the country. They do lose, but its final score is 16-12. Donovan Smith, 24-28, 260 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
Okay.
TCU beat Long Island 45-0. Arizona. We talked about this team having some holes, and they were in a battle with Northern Arizona.
Yeah.
The score was 10-6 Northern Arizona at halftime.
Wow.
Arizona pulls ahead, though, in the second half. They win that game 22-10. Fafita, 18-26, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Tedero McMillan, only 2 receptions for 11 yards after setting a school record in week 1.
Wow. Some teach tape from Northern Arizona on how to contain Tedero McMillan?
Texas Tech, man. They were in a dogfight with Abilene Christian last week, double overtime. Abilene Christian missed the 2-pointer or something?
Yeah, they had a 2-pointer for the win. They missed it.
Well, they go to Pullman. We know how hard it is to play up there. And they got their clocks clean, 37-16. Baron Morton, 34 of 58, 323 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
Oof.
37 points on the Tech defense. They are very bad defensively.
Yes.
Final game, or second to last game, Arizona State, big win over Mississippi State, 30-23 in Tempe.
And we are officially back in Colorado.
Let's go.
Thank God.
God, it feels so good. Cam Scatabo, man. 33 carries for 262 yards, no touchdowns.
Whoa. Workhorse.
Sam Levitt ran in 2 touchdowns. He didn't pass for any. They must have had a punt return, or they had 1 defensive touchdown.
Oh, yeah, it was a big boy touchdown.
Yep. Yeah, that was a sick play,
Yeah,
too.
the ball is like bouncing, and he grabs it and reaches it over the pylon in like one motion. It was sick.
They hit 3 field goals as well to get to 30. BYU with a big upset on Friday night over SMU. I don't remember if we talked about this game or not. SMU was a darling by some.
Yeah.
They were talking a big game about coming and competing for the ACC right away. They now sit at 2-1, losing to BYU at home. BYU 18-15.
2-1?
2-1. They won week 0. They beat Nevada in that crazy game.
Okay, and then who did they play week 2?
Week 1, they played Houston Christian, 59-7.
Okay.
That is the Big 12. Any other college football?
Unk, I liked what you had to say about the Big 12. I'm just giving you shit.
Oh, no, I mean, it wasn't a place for me to get in there.
Just giving you shit.
It was just running it down. I will say this.
Yeah.
I was for everybody losing before we lost. I'm sitting there watching the Tulane game. I'm like, please win. Because, we're divisionless.
Yep.
So top 2 go.
Yep.
But
conference.
It doesn't matter until conference play.
Yep.
Speaking of, there is another conference.
Non-conference game.
Conference on conference game this week. What is it? Kansas State and Arizona.
Arizona, yes.
That's an interesting one.
Top 25, Texas beat Michigan 31-12. It wasn't even close. Michigan has quarterback problems. Syracuse at home. Kyle McCord, kind of a resurgence already. Picking up, not even really where he left off, but just living up to his recruiting pedigree. Syracuse upsets Georgia Tech, who is number 23, 31-28.
Did you see the clip of him on the sideline?
Yes, I did.
That was funny.
Yes, I did. I love it.
I like what I said. I'm for everybody losing, and y'all said conference only, which has been my point the entire time, because we haven't lost a conference game yet. All our goals are still on the table.
Oh, yeah.
Notre Dame, upset of the weekend. Northern Illinois goes into South Bend. It gets a block on a 60-some-yard field goal.
With $1 million payday.
Yep.
$1.4 million.
Yeah.
To go in and get a dub.
And to beat, what was Notre Dame, number 5?
Yep. Final score 16-14.
Love college football. That's it.
That's about it. Oh, Oregon and Boise State. That was a dogfight.
Oh, yeah.
Ashton Genty is a legitimate Heisman contender. He exploded for 25 carries, 192 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Oregon pulls it out in the end, 37-34.
Boise State will be representing the G5 in the college football playoff.
It feels like it. And Ashton Genty might be in New York in December.
Yeah. Dude's an absolute menace. All right.
Your call from here.
Let's go. Let's call it a day.
Alrighty.
We're back in Colorado. We can breathe easy.
Chat. We love y'all. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to both channels. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. We will be back on Tuesday. We are off tomorrow.
Everyone, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Watch some NFL football. And we'll see you guys on Tuesday. It's officially Hate Week 2.
Yeah. Jeez, man.
Let's go.
Brutal.
Get some rest. We're going to hit the battlefield again on Monday.
Yep, we will. Coach Prime will speak on Tuesday. And then Wednesday or Thursday we will have assistant coaches and players.
Real quick, was there any appropriate super chats that came in, Alyssa?
Just one last one from Kevin Riley. He said, my bad for sending a blank super chat. Everyone keep y'all heads up. We still have life. Let's go. 11-1. Go Buffs.
Great one.
Appreciate you, Kevin. And appreciate everyone who tuned in with us throughout the entire trip. This is just the beginning of what's going to be a fun season for us on the road. So thank you guys for all of your support. You make this possible. Let's go Buffs.
Let's go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.